when Islam flourished in Europe. Welcome to today's video where we explore the fascinating history of Muslim Spain, also known as Al-Andalus. This was a period in history when Islam flourished in Europe for nearly 800 years, from the early 8th century to the late 15th century. Al-Andalus wasn't just a time of conquest, but a golden age of intellectual achievement, peace, and cultural exchange. What made Al-Andalus so unique was the coexistence of different faiths and cultures under Islamic rule. The Muslims, Jews, and Christians worked together to build a society rich in knowledge, art, and scientific discovery. In this video, we'll uncover the rise of Al-Andalus, its political and cultural highlights, its intellectual achievements, and its lasting legacy. Let's begin with the arrival of Islam in the Iberian Peninsula. The arrival of Islam in Spain. In 711 AD, Muslim forces, led by General Tariq ibn Ziyad, crossed the Strait of Gibraltar from North Africa and began their conquest of the Iberian Peninsula, which was then under the rule of the Visigothic kingdom. At the Battle of Guadalete, Tariq's forces decisively defeated King Roderick, marking the beginning of Muslim rule in Spain. Within just a few years, most of the Iberian Peninsula fell under Muslim control, and by 718 AD, the majority of what we now call Spain and Portugal had become part of Al-Andalus. The Islamic conquest of the Iberian Peninsula was not just a military victory but also a political and cultural transformation. The early Muslim rulers respected local customs and laws, ensuring a smooth integration of different communities. This set the stage for an era of cultural exchange, economic prosperity, and scientific discovery that would last for centuries. Early history and the Umayyad Caliphate. After the initial conquest, the Umayyad Caliphate in Damascus took control of the region. In 756 AD, Abd al-Rahman I, a member of the defeated Umayyad dynasty, escaped from Syria and established himself as the ruler of Al-Andalus. He declared himself Emir of Cordoba, marking the beginning of an independent Muslim state in the Iberian Peninsula. Under his rule and that of his successors, Cordoba became a cultural and intellectual hub. By the early 10th century, the region was at the height of its power, with the establishment of the Caliphate of Cordoba. Cordoba's Grand Mosque, the Great Mosque of Cordoba, became one of the largest and most impressive places of worship in the world. The city was also a center for learning, boasting libraries, universities, and hospitals. During this period, Al-Andalus was one of the most advanced regions in Europe. Political structure and governance. The political structure of Al-Andalus was a blend of Islamic governance and local traditions. The Muslims followed a system of rule based on Islamic law, or Sharia, which emphasized justice, equity, and compassion. The region was divided into provinces, each governed by a ruler who was responsible for maintaining order, collecting taxes, and ensuring the welfare of the people. One of the key features of Al-Andalus was the dhimma system, which granted religious freedom to Jews and Christians. These non-Muslims, known as people of the book, were allowed to practice their faiths in return for paying a special tax, called the jizya. This system allowed for peaceful coexistence among Muslims, Christians, and Jews. Political stability also enabled trade and commerce to flourish, connecting Al-Andalus with the wider Islamic world, North Africa, and even the Byzantine Empire. Political and cultural highlights. Al-Andalus reached its political and cultural zenith during the rule of Caliph al-Hakam II, 961 to 976 AD. Cordoba became the largest city in Western Europe and one of the most important cultural capitals in the world. At its peak, the city had a population of over 500,000 people and was home to the Great Mosque, one of the most beautiful and iconic structures in Islamic architecture. Al-Hakam II also played a critical role in the development of Al-Andalus intellectual and cultural heritage, commissioning libraries and bringing scholars from all over the world to Cordoba. The political landscape was also marked by the flourishing of the Taifa kingdoms after the collapse of the Umayyad Caliphate in 1031. While these smaller kingdoms often competed with each other, they also contributed to the further growth of art, science, and philosophy in the region. Cultural and intellectual achievements. One of the most lasting contributions of Al-Andalus was its intellectual achievements. Scholars in Al-Andalus preserved and expanded upon the knowledge of the ancient Greeks and Romans. Philosophers like Ibn Rushd, Averroes, and Ibn Sina, Avicenna, made groundbreaking contributions to philosophy and science. Ibn Rushd, for example, wrote extensive commentaries on Aristotle that would later influence European thinkers like Thomas Aquinas during the Renaissance. In mathematics, Al-Khwarizmi, who lived in Baghdad but had a significant influence on Andalusian scholars, introduced algebra, a term derived from his book Al-Kitab al-Mukhtasar fi Hizb al-Jabr wal-Muqabala. The city of Cordoba had one of the largest libraries in the world at the time, containing hundreds of thousands of books on subjects ranging from medicine to astronomy. The role of science and medicine. In science and medicine, Al-Andalus was at the forefront of innovation. The region's scholars built upon the knowledge of ancient civilizations like the Greeks, Romans, and Persians. One of the most famous Andalusian scholars was Ibn al-Haytham, al-Hazan, who made groundbreaking contributions to optics and the study of light. His work laid the foundation for modern optical science. In medicine, figures like Ibn Zuhr and Ibn Rushd revolutionized surgical practices. Ibn Zuhr, also known as Avenzoar, was the first to describe scabies and performed pioneering surgeries. Al-Andalus also boasted impressive medical institutions, including hospitals that were the precursors to modern-day hospitals. Cordoba alone had a hospital that could accommodate up to 10,000 patients. Art and architecture. Al-Andalus is renowned for its distinctive art and architecture, blending Islamic, Christian, and Jewish elements to create unique structures. The Great Mosque of Cordoba, with its iconic horseshoe arches, is a testament to the advanced engineering and aesthetic beauty of the time. The Alhambra in Granada, built during the Nasrid dynasty, is another architectural masterpiece. Its stunning courtyards, intricate tilework, and serene gardens reflect the sophistication of Andalusian design. The use of geometric patterns and arabesque motifs in Al-Andalusian art also influenced European decorative styles, and the fusion of Islamic calligraphy with Christian and Jewish iconography created a new visual language. Daily life in Al-Andalus. Daily life in Al-Andalus was shaped by a rich mixture of cultures and faiths. Muslims, Christians, and Jews often lived in close proximity, contributing to a dynamic and diverse society. In cities like Cordoba, Seville, and Granada, markets were vibrant with goods from all over the world. Spices, textiles, and books were traded alongside agricultural products. People would gather in the grand mosques, public baths, and gardens to socialize and exchange ideas. In terms of education, there was a strong emphasis on learning, with madrasas, schools, teaching everything from the Quran to science and philosophy. This culture of intellectual curiosity was a key feature of Andalusian life. Peace and tolerance in Al-Andalus. Al-Andalus is often celebrated for its relative peace and tolerance compared to other parts of medieval Europe. The Muslim rulers of Al-Andalus generally respected the rights of their Christian and Jewish subjects, offering them protection and freedom to practice their religions. This system allowed for peaceful coexistence and cultural exchange, fostering an environment where diverse communities could thrive. The convivencia, or coexistence, was not without its challenges, but it remains a model of interfaith harmony. Jewish philosophers like Maimonides, who lived in Cordoba, benefited from the intellectual climate of Al-Andalus, and his work would later influence both Islamic and Christian thinkers. The decline of Al-Andalus. The decline of Al-Andalus began in the late 11th century when the Caliphate of Cordoba collapsed. The fragmentation of the Caliphate led to the rise of smaller Taifa kingdoms, which weakened the political unity of the region. At the same time, the Christian Reconquista, or Reconquest, began in the north. Christian forces gradually pushed southward, reclaiming territory from Muslim rulers. By 1238, the Christian kingdom of Castile had taken much of the northern part of the peninsula. The fall of Granada in 1492, after nearly a decade of siege, marked the end of Muslim rule in Spain, but the cultural and intellectual contributions of Al-Andalus continued to shape the world for centuries. The legacy of Al-Andalus in Europe. The legacy of Al-Andalus extends far beyond its borders. The intellectual achievements of Andalusian scholars helped preserve and transmit the classical knowledge of the ancient Greeks and Romans to the Western world. The works of philosophers like Ibn Rushd, Averroes, and Ibn Sina, Avicenna, were later translated into Latin and influenced European scholars during the Renaissance. The architectural styles of Al-Andalus, including the use of arches, geometric patterns, and water features, can be seen in various European buildings, especially in Spain and Portugal. Modern relevance of Al-Andalus. The modern relevance of Al-Andalus is significant in the context of today's globalized world. The historical period of coexistence and intellectual exchange serves as an inspiring example of how diverse cultures can live together in peace and prosperity. In a world where tensions between different faiths and cultures still exist, the example of Al-Andalus offers a vision of tolerance, collaboration, and mutual respect. The role of Islam in the peace and stability of the world. The history of Islam in Al-Andalus reflects the broader principles of Islam, such as justice, peace, and respect for diversity. The peaceful coexistence of Muslims, Christians, and Jews in Al-Andalus was not just an accident of history but a reflection of Islamic teachings about tolerance and respect. Today, the principles of peaceful engagement and dialogue championed by Al-Andalus can help foster greater understanding among the world's diverse cultures. Conclusion. In conclusion, the history of Muslim Spain, or Al-Andalus, is not just a story of conquest or decline but of intellectual brilliance, cultural flourishing, and peaceful coexistence. The legacy of Al-Andalus offers valuable lessons for us today: the power of knowledge, the importance of tolerance, and the potential for diverse communities to live in harmony. As we reflect on this incredible chapter in history, let us strive to continue building bridges of peace, understanding, and collaboration in the world. Thank you for watching. And there you have it. We hope you found this information helpful and thought-provoking. Our goal is always to provide you with content that both informs and engages. If you enjoyed this video and found value in it, we'd be incredibly grateful if you could take a moment to hit that like button. Your positive feedback helps our content reach more viewers who might benefit from it. Don't forget to ring the notification bell to stay updated on our latest uploads. We release new videos regularly and would love to have you join us on this journey of discovery and learning. Thank you so much for watching. Until next time, take care and stay curious.